Now we honor Van Decka.
Van Decka was bred to be a sprinter, but destiny took him to the show pen where he had the stamina for the long hauls, earning more youth points than any horse in AQHA history. Racehorse owner Johnny Johnson of St. Louis bred his top deck stallion Decka Center to the Vandy mare Vanessa D to produce the 1967 bay colt Van Decka. After Van Decka was injured on the racetrack, Johnny decided his horse-loving daughter, Cheryl, needed a show horse, and he chose Van Decka. Van Decka was a character, Cheryl remembers. He was 3 when my dad gave him to me for my 12th birthday, and he was still a stud. The colt was promptly gelded and sent to trainers to learn how to be a show horse, but he was a tough ride even after training. It took a long time before we showed him, Cheryl says. We showed at open shows before we started showing with quarter horses. He was not a mean horse and he would never hurt you. He was just a little ornery, and it would come out every now and then. In 1972, Van Decka earned Open and Youth AQHA champion titles. By 1973, he was in the top 10 at the Youth World and also finished the year 3rd in year-end Youth All-Around standings, plus earned a Youth Performance champion title. He was a great mover and a pretty horse, Cheryl says. We used to do 5 and 6 classes a day, then get in the trailer. I'd wake up in a different state at a different show, and we'd go again. In 1974, Cheryl and Van Decka were Youth World Champions in showmanship. By the end of the year, they were high point winners in showmanship, horsemanship, hunter under saddle, and trail, and took the all-around youth title. In 1975, they were again the year-end high point winners in showmanship and western pleasure. He had this cute thing he would do, says Cheryl. He would come out of a stall, I'd stop him, and he'd set up, boom, 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 and he'd drop his head and just wait for you to pet him. I used to love it. In 3 years, Cheryl and Van Decka amassed more than 2,800 points, and then it was Cheryl's sister's, Kim's, turn to show the gelding. Kim also earned Youth Champion and Performance Champion titles on Van Decka. He was the year-end high point winner in Youth Western Pleasure and Horsemanship, and they were the 1977 Youth Reserve All-Around High Point winners. Kim rode Van Decka to 1,300 more youth points. He was brought out of retirement briefly for another youth to ride, Mary Elizabeth Meekum, who added 25 more points to Van Decka's total. His last rider was Cheryl's daughter Tara, who put 30 points on him and placed first at the 1987 Congress in horsemanship, the last time the bay gelding was shown. He died in his sleep in February of 1988. Van Decka finished his show career with more than 4,200 youth points. The next closest horse, Alito Rito Bar, shown during the same era, has about half that number. Van Decka had a big heart, and that's why he went so long, Cheryl says. He loved it. He was part of the family, that's for sure. And now this big-hearted gelding is welcomed into the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame.
Please welcome Cheryl Johnson-Fuchs to the stage to accept on behalf of Van Decka.
Good evening, and I want to thank the American Quarter Horse Association for recognizing Van Decka, a horse with a legendary historical legacy. The AQHA all-time leading youth point earner with an amazing 4,270 points was bred, owned, and shown, loved by the Johnny Johnson family until his death in 1988. Johnson bred, raised, raced, showed Van Decka. Then his daughters and his granddaughter showed the horse to records that haven't been broken yet today. Several great horsemen were involved with Van Decka. The story began with Mel Sharon, Cutting Horse Hall of Fame inductee, who showed him in 1968 to win the state championship in Missouri as a yearling colt. Mel broke him as a 2-year-old, and then Johnny sent Van Decka to D. Wayne Lucas, AQHA Hall of Fame inductee and renowned thoroughbred trainer, for race training along with his other race horses. Ruidoso Downs in New Mexico, along with his other horses, proved to be not the place for Van Decka. It was just a little bit too much for him. So he was sent home, and once again, he went to St. Louis and Mel Sharon's barn. As a 4-year-old, Mel campaigned Van Decka and won 33 points in halter, 19 points in pleasure, and put him well on his way to becoming an AQHA champion. Then it was decided Van Decka would go to Tommy Mannion's to be shown. However, that was very short-lived. Van Decka's attitude was very difficult to get along with, and once again he came back to St. Louis and back to Mel Sharon's barn. Johnny was looking for a youth horse for his daughter Cheryl. Mel and Johnny discussed Van Decka and decided Cheryl's youth horse was already in the barn. That's when he became a gelding. Mel became Cheryl and Van Decka's trainer, and the rest is history. Cheryl was the all-around youth champion 2 years in a row on a national level, and then turned the horse over to her sister Kim. To her credit, Kim was reserve all-around youth on a national level. Kim loved Van Decka and considered him part of the family. Many years later, Van Decka was taken out of retirement and turned over to Cheryl's daughter Tara, who also went on to become legendary with Van Decka. He was a tough horse, a solid horse, and he didn't forget what he learned. The Johnsons' motto was to practice and practice more. Never blame others for your mistakes. Just keep trying until it is right. Now, Cheryl wants to mention a few of her special memories with her years and Van Decka.
Hi. We were definitely the ultimate horse family. My parents met at a rodeo, and my dad was a roper, and my mom was a trick rider. We all rodeoed, but at the age of 5, my goal was to win the best dressed cowgirl in the grand entry. So you see, Mom made all the show clothes, and I finally did it. I won the pony. I never forgot that, and that started it all. On my 11th birthday, my dad gave me a card with a note. Your present is in the barn. I raced out the door. Dad was running behind me yelling, don't go to the stall. You see, Van Decka was still a stud, and he was a tough horse. I thought my dad was nuts, but he told me the attitude is what makes a good one in the end. And he was right. Over time, Van Decka matured into a kind horse with love and attention. He was a character, and like most great ones, he had his quirks. We spent years on the road traveling from show to show, stopping every 6 hours to let him get out of the trailer so he could pee in the grass. Nope, not doing that in the trailer. And Donna, you're right, Van Decka never forgot anything. We brought him out of retirement for Tara, my daughter, and we were amazed that he still had the habit of standing set up every time you stopped him. The first day, after years out in pasture, I put him in the cross ties. He stood there in perfect showmanship form, looking at me as to say, yeah, I still got it. He never let you forget. He still copped an attitude, though. In fact, 6 weeks before passing, Van Decka passing, Tara was riding him in the indoor arena. And the next thing we knew, she went flying one way and the saddle another. He bucked so hard that he busted the girth. Van Decka lived a great life. He worked hard, played hard, and he was loved. This is all around family horse with 3 generations of love, tenacity, and success. On behalf of our entire family, I want to thank American Quarter Horse Association for recognizing Van Decka with their highest honor, the Hall of Fame. Thank you.